So there was a second question for Mr. Reis first. Surah 39, chapter 39, verse 7.
It is the same verse which was recited yesterday, and it is from Surah Zumar, verse number 7. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم خلقكم من نفس واحدة ثم جعل منها زوجها وأنزل لكم من الأنعام ثمانية أزواج يخلقكم في بطون أمهاتكم خلقا من بعد خلق في ظلمات ثلاث ذلكم الله ربكم له الملك لا إله إلا هو فأنا تصرفون.
So can you explain to us what is meant by Dhulumat?
Yes. The translation is, He created you from a single being, then from her mate, He created from her, He created her mate. And He was sent down for you of the cattle 8 pairs. He creates you in the wombs of your mothers, creation after creation, through 3 stages of darkness. This is Allah your Lord, His is the kingdom, there is no God but He, whither then you are being turned away.
Kind of what is meant by Dhulumat in Salata, in threefold darkness.
But why don't you inquire first why the An'am are being sent? Different pairs. How many pairs?
8.
8 partners होंगे ना इसमें?
8 pairs.
8 pairs.
Yeah.
Which pairs? Can you count them? Camel, sheep, goat, of course, included in that, and cows or buffaloes.
Yes. Here the footnote says, special reference in the words 8 pairs of cattle is to the pairs of goat, sheep, camel, and the ox mentioned in chapter 6, verse 144, perhaps because they are animals of daily use for men.
So there are 4 mentioned,
yes.
And because each has 2 partners, so that is why it said 8. Samaniyat Azwaj, including the number of partners, male, female, and so on. So why didn't you inquire about how the cattle could descend from heaven? Your question should begin with that, shouldn't it? Hello, Munir Ode. Thank you for coming at last. We were missing you like anything, MashaAllah. Now we're talking of the same verse which was here, in which Allah mentions that we caused to descend 8 pairs of cattle, and the second thing which you inquired about, child was given. This is a verse which is often quoted by me to indicate that those things which are shown by the Holy Quran to have descended from heaven, whom Allah caused to descend, they do not descend, but they grow out of this earth. So the word descent does not mean a physical descent, but it must have a very special connotation, because about no other animals Allah has said in the Quran that we caused them to descend. Show me one place where Allah says that we caused lions to descend, we caused deer to descend, or horses to descend, and so on. Not horses, they are partly cattle, but other animals, scorpions, snakes, etc., they are never referred to as having descended. So why pick out cattle alone? This is the most important question which relates to this issue. So first of all, shall we begin with the
this verse again? The detail of these?
No, the two points I said we should raise and discuss.
The first is Samaniyat Azwaj,
That's the first.
and the second is Sulumat and Salas.
That's right. So we should begin to discuss this Samaniyat Azwaj. If you study the Quran carefully, you cannot fail to notice, I hope not, that wherever the word descent is used with reference to any of Allah's creation or favors to mankind, it always indicates that of all the class, of all the members of this class, this member which has been referred to as having descended is the best, without a shadow of doubt. And this is highly important for us to understand the position of Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam among prophets. Among animals, which animals have done the best service for mankind? Tell me. The cattle. If you remove them from participation in life, man would be sent back, hurled back, thousands of years before or even beyond. Because all cultivation was done by the cattle, milk obtained by the cattle, meat obtained by the cattle, and journeys of long distances with heavy loads by the cattle. So if you remove them from playing a part in the advancement of human life, nothing will be left, and we may not reach the age when we could invent automobiles and things ourselves. We have reached here with the help of the animals. So it's a beautiful reference to them in the Holy Quran, which says that they were sent by God, sent down by God. And no other animal is mentioned like this. So the blind atheists, if they read just this, they have to believe in God, because they can draw this conclusion. Most certainly, this is the conclusion they should draw. It's a strange book. No human could have written this book, because this was not explained why this was done. It was left to thinkers. And when they think, there is a very definite link between all the words which mention anything having descended from heaven by God. You understand? So that much for the cattle. Water is mentioned to have descended, right? And without it, life was not possible. Among all the minerals, iron is mentioned to have descended. So for the progress of human civilization and scientific progress of man, iron played the most essential role and still plays the most essential role. Without iron, scientific advancement could not be possible, or mechanical know-how, and implying that know-how to scientific advancement was not possible. Iron is essential in everything. Everything we make, iron is essential. So why just iron and no other metal being mentioned in the Quran with reference to their descent from heaven? Have you ever read anywhere that cause copper to descend, to cause gold to descend, called silver to descend? Apparently, if any metal or mineral should have been respected by a man of that age, it should have been gold, it should have been silver. You could say we caused the gold to descend or silver to descend in this. so on, so forth. Just the iron. Search the whole Quran, no other metal is mentioned. And then the Holy Quran goes on speaking of other things which are caused to be descended. Among humans, the Holy Quran mentions only Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Among all the humans and all the prophets, it is just Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam who is mentioned as having been caused to descend, whom Allah caused to descend. So this verse which you have raised has a very important point right in the beginning. And now we can understand the position of Ahmad sallallahu alaihi wasallam among humans and prophets of God. As cattle occupies the central position in millions of species created by God, so also iron can be explained to have been mentioned out of hundreds of minerals and different forms of things which have been created by Allah. They were specifically chosen. And each is the sovereign in its class. Each is the most central to its class. So, having understood this, we can draw this conclusion safely, and anyone should, that Hazrat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam was caused to descend means that of all the humans and all the prophets of Allah, he occupied the central position and the highest position, the most elevated position. Right? So this verse which you have quoted contains this very important verse, and you didn't ask any question about it.